Welcome to Rick Rack Ruby. I'm Laura Cluvo. Today we will be making this whimsical candy stripe angel Christmas ornament. She's fun and easy, so let's get started. To make this ornament, we'll start with a red and white striped chenille stem, fold it in half, and then I have a length of baker's twine. Here I've threaded on a needle and I put a knot in the end. So there's 2 strands. And I'm just going to go like this so that the baker's twine is right in the fold of the pipe cleaner of the chenille stem. All right, I'm going to set that aside because before we add the head and the arms, I want to get the pom-pom on. It's a little bit easier to work the pom-pom on over the string and rather than trying to put the ends of the feet through the pom-pom. So let's make the pom-pom. This is a 25 millimeter clover pom-pom maker. And I have this little yarn bee mini maker, red yarn. It's acrylic yarn. I'm going to wrap each side 20 times. I don't need a super full pom-pom because if the pom-pom is too full, it obscures the features of the face. I think that's enough. I forgot to count. Let me try to count on this side. That was 20. So I've wrapped each side and then I'm going to cut up that center groove. Great. And then I'm going to tie off the pom-pom with this stretchy cord. Making pom-poms is fast and easy. And if you use the stretchy cord, you have a lot of flexibility. Like you can do a lot of fun things when you can open up the pom-pom and put it over things. It's really fun. I've never had the stretchy cord break, but I'm not saying that couldn't happen, so don't pull it too tight. And there I'm going to remove this. I'll remove the first side and show you how that spoke is right there. That's where I want to insert the needle so that the needle goes right through the center of the pom-pom. This is extra and I'll trim that later. So I'm going to put the needle right through the center of the pom-pom until it is over the pipe cleaners. I always say pipe cleaners, but nowadays they're called chenille stems. I'm going to go down about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch. Like I said, I'm going to trim all that. Don't be concerned. Okay, and then before I put the head on, I'm going to add the arms. This is a 1/2 of a chenille stem. I just cut it in half. I think this is 12 and this is about 6. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so it's 12 and 6. Open this up, put this through. I'm just doing this to determine the center. They don't have to be folded like that. They're actually going to be more out, but just want to make sure I have the center. And then I'm going to add the head. This is a 20 millimeter head bead, and I've already made the face, and you can find the instructions for the face in my Focus on Faces video. So I'm going to thread this on from the bottom to the top, and then I'm going to slide that over the top of the body chenille stems. Did that make sense? So I have the leg body piece with the pom-pom, and then the arms, and then the head. Okay. So I'm pulling this so that I'm sure that the folded end of the pipe cleaner is inside that hole in the top of the head, which I can tell that it is. So now I'm going to tie this off to create a hanging loop. I like a long hanging loop. Now right now I want you to imagine that you can use any color of yarn or pipe cleaners or tool or rickrack or trim or lace or anything that you like. And this project just has infinite possibilities. Let me trim this a little bit, and I will trim it again later. But just for now, so I can see what I'm doing. That looks good. So the idea is that this pom-pom is sort of like a little collar. Now let's create the skirt. I'm using this net. So it's a nylon net. I've had it for a long time. It's white, but you can use tulle or any color that you like. I'm just using this white net because that's what I had. And I'm going to cut off a half a yard, 18 inches. 18 inches is plenty. If you wanted to use 16 or 15 or less, that's fine. And then I have my red rickrack, and I'm just going to use the clips. Usually I'm a pinner, but in this case, the clips work pretty well. I have my machine threaded with red thread. I will stitch the rickrack to the top of the netting. This is 6-inch wide netting. Here's the rickrack stitched to the hem of the net. And now I'll fold this in half, switch to white thread, and seam up the side here. Here's the seam in the skirt. And now I'm going to fold the top and down, the top edge down, so that the rickrack edge is like the hem, and then the folded in edge is sort of like a little petticoat. And with a doubled strand of craft thread, I'm going to gather up the top edge along that fold. It's just a running stitch, just in and out, in and out. Of course, I almost forgot to secure my knot at the beginning, but you want to secure the knot and then just go all the way around, right along the fold. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If the petticoat part is longer or shorter, you can always trim it. It's not that big of a deal. Usually I use a thimble, but this is just so easy to sew through, I don't even need a thimble. And there's the skirt. So I'll place this over the body here, and I forgot to show you, but I did secure this in the back with a little bit of hot glue. So I'm pulling the gathers tight on the skirt, and I'm going to push that way up against the pom-pom, higher than you think it should be. This is kind of high-waisted. I don't want the skirt to be too long. It looks a little awkward, so I try to get it up as high as I can, right up against that pom-pom, which is her collar. And then I'm going to sew back and forth to secure the skirt. So I want to go from the back to the front, front to the back, and then kind of knot it off in the back. Now here's how she looks so far. She's got her little dress with the rickrack hem and the hanging loop, her arms, her legs, and her little pom-pom collar. Now let's do her hair. For the hair, I'm going to do a combination of 2 yarns. I just want to inspire you and encourage you to try different things for the hair. I have a 3x5 inch index card. I'm going to fold that in half. And then I'm going to wrap this around the long way. I think 15 or 20 times. And now I'll go over to my machine and stitch across the center this way to secure those loops. Here's the card. You can see how I have sewn across. And now I'm going to tear the card on those perforations that have been created by the sewing and pull that card out. There, that looks good. So I'm going to call this her wig. And I'm going to apply it to the top of her head for her hair. I'll squeeze out some hot glue right along here, like where a hairband would be. And then I'll place the center of the wig into that line of glue. That looks good. I just kind of check, I pull it back to check before that glue cools to make sure that I can see her features. Now remember, this is her hanging loop, so I want to make sure I don't get that all tangled up. And then I'm going to take both ends of this wig and I'm going to glue them onto the back of the head right here. So I'm pulling this end and this end into the back, the bottom back of her neck. Then I'll draw this up and kind of shape it into a little top knot up here on the top of her head. And then I still have this, this thread that I used to gather up the skirt, so I'll just use this to tie off the top knot. I like to tie it and also go through the hair just to make sure it's nice and secure. Now I like to add a little decoration to her hair, so let's do 2 holly berries. This is just from this. And I've twisted together. I'm going to cut off that extra wire and then add some hot glue here and just stick that into her hairstyle. Right there, off to one side. That looks good. Cute. Then for her halo, I have about 5 inches of 20 gauge wire. I'll twist those ends together like this and then fold the loop forward. I want these to be together. Okay. And then I'm going to add some glue right here onto the stem and then place that into the top of the hair like that. Kind of right next to where the hanging loop comes through. And that looks good. And then I think in her hands, I decided I would add this gold star. So I just hooked the hands together like that. And then I had these puffy glitter star sticker things. I don't know what they're called. But there's all sorts of things like this you can find at the craft store. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue to the back. I never trust the adhesive on the stickers. And just glue that to the front of her hands. That looks good. Okay, and then I'll fold the foot up a little bit and then the knee a little bit. Just a little bit, just kind of a gentle little knee and a gentle little ankle. And then finally, let's add the wings. So with a gold tinsel stem, fold it in half. And then fold each end down to the center, like this. Try to get them about the same size, and then these ends go up and around. I know it's hard to see, but there's the ends are right there. So they went up and around, and then I'm going to make these a little bit more pointy and then open them up. You don't have to do that. You can make them whatever shape you like. I kind of like the pointy opened up shape, but they can be round like that, like a bumblebee. Who knows? However you like. Then I'm going to add some glue right here. Just press that into the back of her head. Not into the pom-pom, but actually the back of her head. Ooh, that looks cute. So we've got a little bit of sparkle. I could trim a little bit away from the pom-pom, but I like that. I like the way that looks. I'm gonna say we're done. What do you think? Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you're enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe.